9 ways to discipline without scolding your child. I see so many parents, they shout at their children. They call them names. Some beat them up, they pinch them. And you make this child to feel so discouraged, disappointed, and even they operate in fear when they are around you. So I want to teach you 9 ways in which you can actually align your child without scolding them, without beating them up, without making them feel like the world is so difficult. So here are 9 ways. Number 1, avoid negative words. When you're speaking to your child, try and use positive words at all times. You see, there's how people say, like maybe a child might ask, how am I looking today, mom? Instead of saying, not bad, just say, you are looking good. Use positive words. Even when you want to discipline, don't use negative words. Let your words be seasoned. Let your child feel appreciated. Let your child feel heard with the seasoned words that you share. Bible says in Colossians 4 verse 6, let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer each other. Number 2, give choices. If you notice that your child is struggling with taking instructions, why don't you give them a choice to choose what they want to do? For instance, if you want your child to wear shoes and the child does not wear, why don't you ask a question that gives them a choice? For instance, you might say, do you want to wear red shoes or black shoes? This one makes the child so empowered that they're actually choosing what they want to wear. And they'll probably say one color. What you have just done, you have made them wear without feeling like they have been pushed or compelled. They actually feel like they're the ones who are in charge. That's an easier way of actually disciplining your child. Even Jesus, God himself, he always gives us choices. He never manipulates us. He never forces things to us. In fact, he says in Deuteronomy 30 verse 19, I call heaven and earth as witnesses towards you, against you. Then it says that I have set before you life and death. He's giving us a choice, life and death. And then another one, blessing and cursing. And then it says, therefore, choose. Okay? Of course, he'll give you the right choice. Choose life. Number 3, mirroring. Now, let your children follow what you do. Children learn through imitation. So when you're a good example, people will always do what you do. If you want them to do a few things that they are struggling to do, why don't you do it yourself and let them copy you? When you are a good role model, they will always follow what you are doing. Matthew 5 verse 16, it says, let your light so shine before men. And then it says, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Let your children see how you do things, and then they will know this is a path to follow. Number 4, instead of time ins, time outs, do time ins. Yes, I see so many parents, when they want to discipline a child, you don't want to cane them, you tell them, go to your room, you have a time out. Okay, it's a good way, but there could be better ways. What you can do, because anytime you do a timeout, you are actually teaching them to isolate. You are teaching them that when you make a mistake, you should be alone, and that can actually affect their self-esteem. Why don't you do time ins? This is where you tell them, why don't you come and stay with me here for the next 1 hour? Instead of telling them, go and lock yourself in your room, come and stay here where I am. Come and clean the utensils with me. Come and stay while the others are playing out there. Come and be with me. That time in will actually also connect the two of you. It will build your intimacy, and they always know that anytime they have a problem, they'll actually come to you rather than run away from you. That's a culture that Jesus was trying to teach. He was saying, when you make a mistake, don't run away from me. In fact, he says, come to me, draw unto me, and I will draw unto you. You see, the prodigal son, when he made a mistake, he ran away from the father. But when he came back to his senses, he realized, I have made a mistake. Instead of running away, I should actually go back to the father. That's a culture that you should always have. The culture of teaching them, come and be with me. When you've made a mistake, you should actually be closer to me, so that I can actually teach you how to do things. Now the Bible says in Psalms 38 verse 21, Lord, do not forsake me. Do not be far from me, my God. He's saying, come closer. Come closer. Number 5, allow natural consequences. Now, if you notice your child is doing things and you know very well it might hurt them sometimes, allow them to get hurt. Allow them to make mistakes that they can learn. There are natural consequences for every mistake that they actually do. The Bible says, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will reap. Number 6, redirect their attention. Now, if you notice your child is doing something and they have a lot of energy, why don't you redirect it positively? If you notice they are drawing on the wall and they are dirtifying your wall, why don't you redirect them? Give them a piece of paper, tell them now you can paint this instead of painting the wall. What you're doing, you are directing them, their energies in a positive way. Now, the Bible talks about that you should focus on the positive things. I think that's in Philippians 4 verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Number 7, a listening ear. Sometimes if you see young people rebelling, it's because no one is listening to them. It's because they have so many things they want to express, but they don't have a listening ear. Why don't you take a moment in between the week and just give them your ears? Listen to them. Listen to what they are going through. Listen to their challenges. Listen to their issues. And then you'll notice it's going to change a few things. Now, the Bible says you should be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. I think that's James 1 verse 19. So then, my brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Number 8, create a routine. Now, people always make mistakes where there is no order. So create a routine. Let them know that when they wake up in the morning, this is what they do. Let them know that in the evening, this is what they do. Coming from school, this is the order. Whenever there's no order, people will always be in chaos. So create a pattern in their lives. Even God says, I want to create patterns in your lives. Yes, he says that you should operate based on the foundations of Christ. Follow me as I follow Christ. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 3 verse 11, for no other foundation can anyone lay than that which is laid. Jesus is Christ. Which is Jesus Christ. Number 9, use storytelling as a way of passing information. If you want to correct people, by the way, the easiest way to correct anyone without making them feel hurt is to tell them a story about someone that actually made a similar mistake. It's like you're sharing something indirectly. Anytime you do that, people learn and they pick lessons. Even Jesus knew that secret. He was always using parables to share mysteries, to share principles, to share revelations. And those who listen to his stories, they learned something. In fact, the disciples at one point, they asked Jesus, why do you use parables? I think that's in the book of Matthew 13 verse 10. And the disciples came and said to him, why do you speak to them in parables? And Jesus answered and said to them, because it has been given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. He's saying that when you listen to these parables, there are things you will tap. And so that's an easier way of actually disciplining your children. I'm hoping these 9 ideas will help you. Go try them. You'll see a different change. You'll build a better relationship with your child, or even with your friends, or even with your partner. You'll notice there'll be a few things that will adjust in your lives. God bless you.